Stop trying to please women. I know, at first, that sounds bitter. It sounds like something a heartbroken guy would shout after being ghosted or betrayed. But take a second and really let that statement sink in. Not just the words, the truth behind it. Stop trying to please women, because it's the very thing that's destroying modern masculinity. Think back. How many times did you go out of your way just to make her smile? You planned the dates. You paid the bills. You adjusted your tone, softened your opinions, held back your truth, just to keep her happy. You became nicer, more agreeable, more flexible. And what happened? She left anyway. She stopped texting. She got bored. She started arguments out of nowhere. And then she hit you with that classic line. It's not you, it's me. No, it was you. It was you forgetting who you were. The moment you made her happiness your mission, you stopped being a man and started being a performer in her circus. This isn't just about relationships, it's about your core, your self-respect, your direction as a man. The more you try to be everything for her, the more invisible you become. So today we're done with that. We're going to burn the script you were given since childhood and write a new one. One that doesn't start with make her happy. It starts with one powerful rule. Never ever try to please a woman. Because the moment you do is the moment she starts losing respect for you. You want to know why this mindset ruins you? Because women don't reward effort, they respond to strength. And when your entire existence becomes about making her smile, she starts looking past you, searching for what's missing. That's her default setting. What's missing? Not what's present. Not what you've already done. Not the nights you stayed up listening, the money you spent, the promises you kept. No. What she focuses on is what she didn't get. You think buying her flowers will fix things? She'll wonder why you didn't get her favorite color. You plan a surprise trip? She complains you didn't invite her friends. You work overtime to provide? She whines that you're never home. You become the emotionally available man she says she wants. And she'll start craving the edge of the guy who doesn't text back. She lives in the fantasy of possibility. And when you become predictable, even in your kindness, she starts searching for chaos because it makes her feel alive. Let that sink in. No matter how perfect you try to be, she will always find a gap, a void, something you didn't say, something you didn't do, something she wishes you had done differently. And the harder you try to fill that void, the wider it becomes. Because the truth is brutal but freeing. You are not the solution to her endless desires. You are a man, not a genie. And the moment you start acting like one, she'll lose interest. Fast. And here's where it gets even darker. You were never supposed to be the one pleasing her in the first place. That role reversal? That's the reason everything feels off. The reason modern relationships are crumbling, and men are walking around confused, frustrated, emasculated. Because the natural order has been flipped. It is in her nature to please you, to support your mission, to move in sync with your vision. Not because she's lesser, but because when a man leads with purpose, a woman naturally aligns. That's balance. That's harmony. But when you bend your backbone trying to align with her emotions, with her whims, with her never-ending preferences, you lose your edge, your gravity, your presence, and she can feel it. You say, I'll be anything you want. She hears, I don't know who I am. You say, just tell me what makes you happy. She hears, I'll abandon myself for you. You start acting like the butler instead of the king, and she stops looking at you like a man. And the worst part, she might not even realize it. She'll just feel this subtle repulsion, this instinct telling her that you're not it anymore, that something's missing. And guess what? She's right. What's missing is you. Not the people-pleasing version. Not the soft, agreeable, don't rock the boat version. You, the man who stands his ground. The man who doesn't seek approval. The man who doesn't apologize for being masculine, driven, and firm in his standards. That man is rare, and that man is respected. You want a perfect example of what happens when a man forgets his role? Look no further than the story of Adam and Eve. They had paradise, everything, peace, abundance, a world free from pain. But all it took was one suggestion. What if there's something better? And Eve reached for it. Not because she was evil, but because that's her nature. To test the boundary, to wonder, to want more. And what did Adam do? He followed. He didn't lead. He didn't hold the line. He didn't say, no, that's not how this works. And because of that, because he failed to protect the structure, everything collapsed. Now bring that story into your own life. You gave her everything, didn't you? Security, loyalty, love, structure. And she still said, I need space. You were the provider, the planner, the nice guy. And she left you for someone who didn't even try half as hard. Why? Because you failed the test. Not the test of being a good man, but the test of being a strong man. A man who knows how to say no, a man who doesn't bend because she pouts. A man who doesn't panic when she pulls away. Adam had one job, lead. You do too. And if you don't, she will take the reins. And when she does, she won't respect you. She won't follow you. She'll blame you for letting her lead in the first place, even if she asked to. And here's the hardest truth for most men to swallow. You cannot please a woman. You can't. Not fully. Not permanently. It's not because they're ungrateful. It's not because they're broken. It's because their psychology is wired to search for gaps, to spot weakness, to question what's missing. You buy her the dream house, the luxury car, the designer bags. She'll still scroll Instagram, wondering why your vacations don't look as fun as her friends. You take care of her, support her goals, speak her love language, and she'll still say, I just feel like something's off. She can't help it. Her mind is constantly scanning for what else is possible. What else she could feel. What she's not getting, emotionally, spiritually, socially. Even when she has everything, she will feel the urge for more. That's why the perfect boyfriend never wins. He becomes the emotional vending machine. Press a button, get affection. Do enough, and maybe, just maybe, she'll love you back. But that love always feels like a transaction, never earned, never certain. And eventually, she gets bored, because deep down, she doesn't want to be pleased. She wants to be challenged. She wants to be led. She wants to be around a man who's full with or without her, and who doesn't flinch when she says, this isn't enough. Because when a man no longer lives to please, he becomes the one she respects the most. Look around you. This is what happens when men start listening to what women say they want. The chaos you see on social media, the overexposed photos, the thirst traps, the empty validation loops, it's all a result of men abandoning their standards. You say you don't want a woman who posts revealing photos, but you're the first one double tapping it. You say you want loyalty and class, but you're in her DMs the moment she shows some skin. Women didn't build this world alone. Men enabled it. You gave up your backbone for a little attention. You traded leadership for likes. You handed over your power in exchange for a fantasy. And now you wonder why nothing feels right. This is what happens when men stop leading. This is what happens when masculinity becomes passive. This is what happens when you try to build your worth through her approval. The moment you let her define the rules, she rewrites the game. And trust me, you won't like how it ends. Because she's not going to guide you to strength. She's going to test your limits until she breaks you. Not out of cruelty, but instinct. She wants to feel your edge. And if she doesn't, she'll keep pushing, keep provoking, keep escalating, until one day she walks away, and you're left confused, broken, and asking the wrong question. But I did everything right. No, you did everything she asked. And that's why she left. Here's the real problem. It's not that men are too weak. It's that they've stopped caring where it matters. You don't care that she disrespects you in public. You don't care that she mocks your values, your goals, your mission. You don't care that she posts thirst traps and calls it confidence. As long as she sleeps with you twice a week, you stay. You've traded your self-respect for temporary affection. And that's the downfall. You stopped demanding more. You stopped requiring decency. You stopped enforcing standards. All because you were afraid to lose her. But let me ask you something. What are you really keeping? A partner or a liability? Because if you're walking on eggshells just to keep her around, if you have to silence yourself to avoid her mood swings, if you accept less than you give, that's not a relationship. That's emotional slavery. You want to know why women run from men like that? Because she can feel it. You don't value yourself. And if you don't value you, why should she? A man who truly cares doesn't just care about pleasure. He cares about alignment. He cares about peace. He cares about the energy she brings into his world. And he's not afraid to say, if you can't respect me, you can't stay. That's not toxic. That's truth. And real women feel it. So how do you stop this cycle? It starts with one shift, one brutal but liberating mindset. She's here to please you. Not in some twisted, ego-driven way, but in the natural, grounded, masculine way. A woman adds to your life, not becomes the center of it. She enhances your peace, not disturbs it. She brings softness to your strength, not confusion to your clarity. You walk into a conversation with a beautiful woman, and suddenly you're nervous. Why? What about her? Is she interesting? Is she kind? Does she bring peace or chaos? You're so focused on not messing up, you forget to ask if she's even worth your time. Flip the frame. When she says something disrespectful, walk away mid-sentence. No explanation. Just like she would if you gave off one weird vibe. When she shows up cold, passive, entitled, don't beg for warmth. Let her feel your absence. Set the tone. Make her qualify for your energy, for your presence, for your loyalty. That's not arrogance. That's leadership. Because a man who doesn't require anything gets walked on. But a man who sets the standard gets followed. This doesn't mean you become cold or cruel. It means you operate from a place of internal value. It means you refuse to reward behavior that goes against your core. Because when she sees that you care more about who you are than about keeping her, that's when she starts taking you seriously. Let me say this one last time. You don't win by pleasing a woman. You win by pleasing yourself first, by aligning your actions with your values, your words with your standards, your energy with your purpose. Because the world doesn't need more men begging to be liked. It needs more men who are unshakable. Stop double-tapping the behavior you claim to hate. Stop validating chaos with your attention. Stop calling yourself a real man while accepting less than you deserve. If she's posting for attention, let her chase it. If she's constantly bored, let her go be entertained elsewhere. If she challenges your peace, don't negotiate with it. Withdraw completely. Because here's the paradox. The less you try to please her, the more she starts chasing you. Not because you played a trick, but because you stopped betraying yourself. You showed her what boundaries look like. You taught her what presence feels like. You reminded her what a real man actually is. A man who leads. A man who says no. A man who protects his frame like it's sacred, because it is. So from this moment forward, stop trying to be the perfect boyfriend. Start becoming the immovable force. Start being the man who doesn't fold just to make her feel better for 5 minutes. Because you weren't born to please. You were born to lead. And when you finally step into that role, she either rises with you, or she watches you walk away.